WandaVision Episode 6 has just released on Disney Plus, and I've had a chance to watch the episode, which includes some new Quicksilver scenes, Marvel Easter eggs, and more to break down. In particular, I'm going to be explaining the plot and ending for WandaVision Episode 6, entitled All New Halloween Spooktacular, in the aim to help you guys gather a greater sense of what happened. This analysis will also contain spoilers, so if you do happen to be someone who hasn't watched episode 6 of WandaVision Season 1, then I would recommend watching this video after you've caught up. If you want to see more videos on all of the Disney Plus Marvel shows, then don't forget to subscribe to the channel and turn on your notifications. Also, if you enjoy this video, remember to give it a like rating. But without further ado, let's dive into my breakdown and explained video for episode 6 of WandaVision. So WandaVision brought us its first seasonal special in this week's episode, which also picks up on the aftermath of last week's huge universe-bending twist. Pietro is alive, and this time he's played by Evan Peters, which has us asking why a Fox version of the character is in the MCU. Still, before we can confirm that the X-Men are entering into the cinematic universe, we're back into the sitcom world of Westview, specifically now a comedic 90s story where Wanda and Vision have to deal with their new houseguest and Vision's own growing suspicions about what's going on. Meanwhile, outside of the Hex, Monica, Jimmy and Darcy begin to clash with director Hayward and work to uncover what his game really is with the world's only vibranium synthesoid. After the big twists and action of last week's story, this is definitely not as strong, developing what we've seen already rather than pushing the plot along a great deal. To be fair, there is a lot to build on from the previous episodes, starting with this new Pietro. The question we have is whether he is actually new or not. From the beginning, Pietro plays the role of the influence uncle, leading the kids astray as they go trick-or-treating on Halloween. But later, he reveals he's only doing that because it's the part Wanda and this sitcom world want him to play. I personally don't believe Wanda is fully in control based on what she's been saying recently, but unusually, he seems fairly aware of the simulation they're in and how Wanda is somehow at least controlling a bit of it. He is also explicitly presented as the MCU Pietro and Quicksilver, complete with memories of his death in Age of Ultron, which was shown in a quick clip during the recap. He says, "I got shot like a chump in the street for no reason at all, and the next thing I know, I hear you calling me." Also suggesting that he looks different because Wanda doesn't want to be reminded of the past. Except when she actually sees Evan Peters full of bullet holes during a quick shot, just like in one of the previous weeks we saw dead Vision. Like Wanda, we may want to have our suspicions of this Pietro, who seems happy about what Wanda's pulled off and weirdly uncaring towards the danger that Vision is also in. He tells Wanda not to worry and says that it's not like your dead husband can die twice. Now, some Marvel fans think that this may not really be Quicksilver at all, and that the ultimate villain, maybe Mephisto, is actually behind Peter's mask. For now, this is a little unclear and we don't really get too much more to chew on in this episode. But Pietro does at least manage to keep Wanda distracted, while Vision finally breaks out on his own looking for the truth. After a slightly tense morning, Vision, wearing his comic book costume just like Wanda, Pietro and their kids, sneaks away to do his own investigating, discovering a literal ghost town at the edges of the Hex. Among these people, he finds Agnes, who notes just how much under Wanda's control they are, while also filling Vision in on his own deadly history. As she says to him that he's one of the Avengers and asks whether he's here to help, Vision seems to not remember that. He replies, "I am Vision, I am here to help, but what's an Avenger?" Like Pietro, it's hard to know what her motives are, and many of us don't trust her and that she could also be pulling the strings. She is in a witch costume, and it could be alluding more towards this point, but right now we still don't have a clear answer. But whatever her game really is, she inspires Vision to try something eventful, an attempt to go beyond Ellis Avenue, outside the Hex and into the real world. In this said real world, Monica, Jimmy and Darcy have already clashed with director Hayward, who threw them off the case with remarkably bad attitude and somehow seems to be tracking Vision's motion specifically. But while Monica's visit to Westview apparently messed up her molecular structure, Vision simply falls apart once he leaves, possibly hinting at exactly what Sword was doing with his body before Wanda stole it, and inspiring Wanda to do something equally as eventful. She's warned by her son Billy that Vision is in danger, and we learn that along with his brother, the kids are also developing abilities similar to Wanda and Pietro. It's here that Wanda realises Vision is in trouble, and in turn, she freezes everyone with a Westworld maneuver, she widens the Hex, saves Vision simultaneously, and transforms the Sword agents, except Hayward, Monica Rambeau, and the FBI's Jimmy, into carnival workers. With one move, Wanda has now crafted an even bigger environment to manipulate, even if that still is a question, and most of her enemies have been moved off the board. However, it also brings Darcy into the sitcom world, and sets Monica and Jimmy off to meet this mysterious aerospace engineer. Could this be a character like Reed Richards? Well, we'll have to see. But what we do know is that this engineer has apparently built something that can get them inside Westview safely, and we're also sure that Hayward hasn't given up on his plans just yet. But that was my brief breakdown video explaining the plot and ending for episode 6 of WandaVision. Now, with just 3 episodes left, it's hard to know exactly how this series will conclude, and there is still a lot of questions left to answer. Should we take any note of the fact that Tommy and Billy were essentially narrating this week's episode, alongside hints of their powers? Are Pietro and Agnes who they say they are, or is someone else pulling the strings like many of us think? Is there a significance to Pietro appearing as the Fox Quicksilver? And how will any of this be resolved in a way that doesn't start a continuing and growing war in New Jersey? Well, hopefully, in some slightly longer episodes and some more interesting narrative discussion, we'll soon find out. Although I found this episode slightly disappointing in comparison to the others in terms of story and character progression, there was still a lot to digest, and I found the interesting parts were more centered around Vision and his journey to find out what's going on. It was a break from the comedy, which I didn't think was as strong as before, and it really got me into the head of the character. With that in mind though, it's hard to think that the showrunners and creators won't develop and push forward the beats that we all want the answers to in the hopefully momentous final 3 episodes. But as the Hex just got a lot bigger, WandaVision has too, and we are finally seeing the scale of the show and the budget unfold. So regardless of my thoughts, the ending has definitely whet my appetite for what's to come. I'm giving episode 6 of WandaVision a 6.5 out of 10. I hope you guys enjoyed my breakdown and review, and overall, I'm looking forward to seeing what happens in episode 7 of the new Marvel show, which I will be covering on the channel next week. I'm also intrigued to hear all of your thoughts on episode 6, so let me know down below in the comment section, as well as listing your predictions for episode 7. For more content on WandaVision, then don't forget to subscribe to the channel and turn on your notifications. Also, if you enjoy this video, remember to leave a like rating. I am covering every episode of Season 1 alongside bringing constant updates on all of the new Marvel shows, so make sure to keep a lookout for whenever I post. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed it. I've been Cortex, and as always, make some noise.